It's working? So get ready because I have to keep you up after lunch break, and I'm full of energy, and I speak very loud, and a lot of hands. So if you're here, it's because you're interested to learn about how to drive ESG strategies. One, ESG strategies, does that exist? Add fast, overcoming resistance, and building a long-term transformation. So if you're here for that, you're in the right place. And this animation is not working, so I let you imagine what it should be. So this is a little bit about me. I started a sustainability career 18 years ago back in Brazil, where I'm originally from. Then I took over 10 countries in South America, and they are all different. And then I moved to Hong Kong, and I took some global roles there. I came from a place, that's the illustration, imagine. Sunshine is great, right? It's a sign of good health. And I moved to other place where sunshine is not good for your health. What? The same sunshine that is there for millennials has a completely opposite meaning depending where you look at. Think about how is it in the sustainability world. New concept, nobody understands that very well, so depends where you look from, you see completely different pictures. And I think here is where ESG plays a friendly role. It helps us, right? It helps us to harmonize definitions, metrics, how we can make things work, where is the common ground you're starting from. And then I joined Marelli, a very interesting 100 years fresh company. How is it? It's a merging of two companies, Japanese Calzone Kansei, auto parts manufacturing company, with another big group, Magnetti Marelli from Italy. So imagine, Japanese one side, Italian the other side. And this is us. We have more than 50,000 employees working in 170 locations worldwide. Think about it, culture, language, understandings, maturity. Not even our customers are really clear or aligned on what they expect from us as a supplier when it comes to sustainability. They have different ways of measure, ways of understanding, different priorities. Yeah, different priorities. I stop there. When it comes to our business, just to add a little bit more interesting facts on that, we had 6 business divisions that makes parts for the cars. The parts that you see, rear lamps, headlamps, the beautiful electronic systems, clusters, the beautiful part of the car, the one we all like, those ones. But we also do things that you don't see, but it makes the car running. It makes the car reliable, and if they miss, you will be really in trouble. We also have aftermarket, which is a business of trade spare parts, and we have an activity named motorsport. So you can imagine how interesting it can be. We have different divisions, different business, still same customers, but different suppliers or different materials to deal with. So I like to define this. Many people said it's a puzzle. No, actually it's a Rubik's cube. Have anyone here played with a Rubik's cube in life? Hey, higher. Lunchtime, yes. Without YouTube. Nobody? Without YouTube is different, right? Yeah. I have an 80 years boy, and he's trying this for months right now. And he says, Mommy, can I see this in YouTube? But I say, no, because YouTube is going to give you one answer. And there are more than 300 possibilities to get this sorted. Get your own. And it takes time, and he's annoyed. But then we are just learning that. And when I used to be in Hong Kong, I saw kids doing Rubik's Cube, right? Before 2 stations. I not even could watch. And then now, I just figured out there are like championships where kids can do this in 7 seconds. What? 7 seconds. And they have like different modalities. One hand, without looking. Wow, wow. I took years and I put like 2 faces, right? Maybe. And I think that makes sense when it comes again to sustainability, right? So what is our job? Our job is to align many faces of a cube, right? We have to take care of climate change, but then we have to make the resources more circular. We cannot leave behind the people working our plants, or we cannot leave behind our suppliers. We have to align up then. And once you make one face, right, the other, oh, yeah, we miss the other, yeah. So how we make this, and moreover, how we make this working fast, because we cannot wait. We have to work to run, and we have to act fast. We cannot keep discussing this for life. So what I learned from my journey is that speed comes from practice, and the practice does not rely only in the sustainability department. We just have one piece of the information, but our teams, they have the whole thing. All we need to do is to meet on halfway and understand each other, having common conversations. And I always ask myself, are we trying to have conversations here, or we are using ESG terms, terminology, to be apart? Are we trying to preach, to make people, engineers, most of the times understand what we want? Or are we able to translate this in what they need to do now? So that's what I've been thinking about when they asked me, can you tell the story on how we're making this happen? And I can tell you how we are making this at Marelli with all of this interesting landscape that I just told you. The story I would tell you right now happened in 1 year. So in 1 year, all of this would be ready, was ready. Oh my gosh, that's really difficult. Fine. So we have first set our strategy. And our strategy lies in 3 big pillars. And this makes sense with our industry. So why? Climate change. Guess what? Guess why? Right? Passenger cars are accountable for 17% of the world's emissions. And the ones who were here yesterday heard the automakers saying that only the transition to EVs is not enough to decarbonize the sector. They need to reduce the emissions and supply chain by 82%. So we have to look at this, and we have to look fast, and we have to be ambitious. That's why speed matters a lot to us. Second pillar of our strategy is circular economy. So European Commission says that 54% of the resources needed for the transition to a low-carbon economy are seated in protected areas, meaning not available. Remember the cube, right? Can we take the resource? And what about the population? What about the nature conservancy? What about the climate change? We cannot take those resources. We need to make them circular. So it's a reality for us. Third one is the social impact. Maybe you're not aware, but automotive industry has one of the longest supply chain in the world. We have a lot of people to take care. In our facilities, we have 50,000. We have 5,000 plus suppliers with people working to them as well. We really need to take a look at that. So 3 phases of the cube, right? Imagine, fast, yeah? So the first one was the strategy. The strategy for us, we have to make it very clear so people can understand. It's ESG. We need to make this measurable according to the standards, not according to me, not according to the regulation in the country X, Y, Z, international standards. That's the way we're going to measure. It needs to be compliant. It needs to be profitable, otherwise it's not sustainable. If we have to put a lot of money this year, we'll have the money next year. How is the industry going to work? It needs to be sustainable. It needs to be profitable. Where are the opportunities? So that helps, right? People to take decisions based on what we are expecting them to do. That's our strategy. Then we created a roadmap to the desired state. Quick. Okay, where we want to go, where we want to be 2025. That's it. We made a gap analysis against the main standards. Okay, that's what is missing. Let's name this sprints. Remember, motorsport, race cars, right? Lightning speed, yeah, that's all we get. Yeah, so we make the sprints. And we nominated the C-suite for each of the sprints with very clear milestones. So next meeting, you need to come back with this and this and that. We have this progress monitor at the beginning on a monthly basis with our C-suite. We have a group named Sustainability Council, and each member has a responsibility over this. And then third, you've been hearing a lot about the importance of governance. We have set our governance, but not just the formal governance. Okay, what we need from the board, what the type of oversight we need from them, how we're going to make this work with our C-suite. We also go some levels down and identify people in the business divisions. Remember, they are different. They have completely different natures of working. We have nominated one head of sustainability per division. Did we hire them? No, we have no time. Imagine hiring 8 people, sustainability expert in electronics. Woo, that would be crazy. People are there. They know what they need to do. They can do better. They can do faster. As long as we, sustainability professionals, are able to translate to them what they need to do. And then that worked for us. Finally, we have set targets, right? Companies like targets. That's the way we live. We put a target, we go for it. We put a target, we go for it. We put a target in each of the focus areas. We have few targets for focus areas. Every single line of this has an executive sponsor, and the executive sponsor nominates a champion to work with us on a day-to-day, because it's not just because you have a target, it means that it will be achieved, right? Along the way, we have a lot of interesting conversations on, oh, did you mean waste? How do you measure? Define waste. Define waste. It's a conversation. Remember, different countries, different cultures, different understandings, many regulations about it. We have to have a common point to start from. And that is working. So we have the targets, to the top level, and we have the targets cascaded all the way down to every plant manager, so they know what the targets for their plants are. And this is, of course, part of the performance and part of the compensation. It was easy? Of course not. It was fast, I can tell you. But yes, we had challenges. I'm not here to tell you the beautiful story that they lived happily ever after. That's not the story. The story is, yes, it was chaotic. There were days really, really tough for us to take decisions, for us to move. And I'm mainly here the main challenges, because now I can tell you that we went through a real cultural transformation at Marelli. The understanding, the mood, the reaction, the openness of people has changed. It's just different. And how do we make it? The first challenge we had is define the common language. And here is, again, ESG plays a role. Yeah? And then at the beginning we had, I do not agree with this definition. I do not agree with this number. Okay, let's not discuss this standard. I can give this to you after the meeting. Given that, can we come back to work? That helps. But if you try to just copy and paste G&G protocol, good luck. It's not going to work. You need to simplify a little bit. Simplify. We need to simplify the process. Look, the way it's written here, we cannot do because, the former part of the heritage of the plans in Japan was not at the same page as the other plans in Italy. How can we do this? We need to simplify. Maybe we put this, and that's what we did with our roadmap. We said, that's the desired state. We need to be there. Can we be there now? No. Next semester? No way. Next year? Yeah, next year we can make it work. That's it, because if you try to be perfect at the day one, you don't move, and you need to move. And as you move, you learn, and as you learn, you gain speed. And then, 2 faces. That's my best, and yours. The cube. Wow, you're really good. We need to talk after that. Right? And last one, listen. Right? I'm learning how to listen. I'm not the best in listening, right? Listen to people, and I've been listening a lot. We don't know the answers. We've been talking through this 2 days conference that the answer doesn't sit in one company, doesn't sit in one department, doesn't sit in one person. we have to talk. We have to start. We have to reshuffle sometimes. Okay, I understand that the way we need to do whatever task is now too complicated, but let's make a plan to get it there. And start. Don't let the complexity prevent you from walking. Yeah, and I like this picture because that's the way I see. Whew, looks so far. But it's going, it's moving, and as we all learn it together, things are doing really well and fast. So, to conclude, I would say I really like this sentence because if you try to make ESG one-off at the report seasoning, okay, we need to do this now, let's do it, we do it. You would do it, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change the culture. It's not going to change the way you do this or the way people do this in a company. But if you try to do this every day, and that's where we are, educating our people and say, yeah, look, HR, we need to report this data here. We need to change this process like this. And I understand 50,000 people is not so easy to move. It's not so fast to move. But how can we do this? And progressively, we are doing. We have now, I'm super happy to tell this anecdote. The other day, the marketing team was updating their policies. And they come to us and say, I was wondering if there's something for sustainability, I should put it here, right? Like how make events more sustainable, rules to print materials. They were not in the roadmap. They were not on the target setting. But that's an example of how culture can change when people know, when we all on the same page where we want to go. And I've been very humble here. I don't want to be the YouTube tutorial to tell you how to get the Rubik's Cube sorted, because remember, there are more than 300 solutions. You find your own. I'm sure you will, but that's another point of ESG and how it helps us a lot, because the transparency helps us to see what the other companies are doing. Technically, it should be comparable. So we should be able to compare ourselves with our peers, with our customers, with the benchmarks. We should be able to see, we should be able to learn, right? But don't get on that as, okay, I need to do that solution. There are, for the cube, 300 possibilities. For us, I guess, infinite possibilities to make at least our piece of work, our companies, more sustainable. That's what I want to share with you. Thank you. Obrigada. Arigato.
Thank you, Denise. Right, let's throw to the room for any immediate questions. I know I've got plenty, but anything from the room that anyone wants to raise at this point? No? Well, where I want to go is a common thread through a lot of presentations today has been about what you were talking about, ingraining it into an organisation, getting everybody involved, having that communication. For you, what is the best way and the most successful way to actually do that? Because that relates whether you make cars, whether you're an accountancy, whether you, whatever industry you're in, you're still trying to achieve that. For you, what's your best advice on achieving that?
I wish I could give you an advice on that. But what I've been learning, and I keep learning, is that to tone, to find the proper tone for the conversations, right? It's not entering in the room preaching like, I'm here for science-based targets, that's what the requirements say, blah, blah. People get lost, So, okay, define scope 1 and 2. I have to define this 3 times, 4 times per meeting, and that's okay. I will not be precise, and I don't see, GAG protocol police here saying, that's wrong. I don't care, right? I put in a way people understand, and I try really my best to translate this to their reality. That's the way I learned that works the best. I failed in the past, trying to provide people with training, trying to provide people with understanding, let's make a webinar for that. Let's make people understand. No, they will not understand in 1 hour what we are still discussing. We are all learning together. So not an advice, but what worked for me. I guess.
And that takes me to my next question very well, because it's, as I said earlier, it's terribly easy to put out a new sustainability plan document with lots of glossy pictures and so forth. How important is it to admit where you're not getting it right and to constantly review progress to actually make sure you fix those problems rather than just celebrating the things that are working?
Oh, that's a very good question. Yeah, I think, we at Marelli, we say we don't work with perfection. We're just trying to make progress. Yeah, so we set targets for ourselves on scope 3 just after the very first assessment, spending-based methodology. It's not the right thing to do, but that's what we need to do, right? So there's this big difference in what we need to do and what we can do and what we should do. And we should do is way better. And it's far, right? So I think that when people say, okay, I tried that, didn't work, but I learned. I guess they feel more encouraged to keep working and trying, yeah? And I take this responsibility to sustainability teams. It's our job to say, okay, that's the way I should be doing, but that's the way I need to be transparent with my stakeholders and say the way we are doing, right? It's not that it's not correct. It's just not perfect. And I don't think we have space for perfection when we need to achieve something fast.
That is a very nice place to round that up. I think I speak for everyone in the room. Really enjoyed your presentation, Denise.
Thank you. You stir up, yeah, right? Thank you.